all the time, dude. Like being a slider and like being even when I was a clown, like dropping someone was so like casual to me. They come out of a slide and like you get someone out of the peripheral, then you pop up and they're just like, they fall. Like there's like, and it's cool when you own somebody.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Embrace the Journey. My name is Brandon, and welcome to the podcast. Today is Thursday, so what does that mean? I have another special guest for you, and this one is very special. This guy is a performer all around. Let me introduce him. My guest today is a 10-year veteran at Knott Scary Farm as a scare actor for Halloween. He's one of the top performers there and goes by the name of Seaweed. He is also part of a group called Decayed Brigade, which is a sliding team that performs at events like Midsummer Scream. Outside of that, he also performs in Disneyland's Main Street Parade in Anaheim. Overall, the guy is a natural-born performer. Welcome, my guest, Greg.
What's up, dude?
Hey,
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. How you been? What have you been up to since, obviously, we just got word haunt season isn't happening this year and all that kind of stuff. So how do you keep yourself busy nowadays?
I kind of just started picking up like working out more.
Okay.
I used to, you kind of put on the quarantine 15.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
In and out and Wingstop was like my best friend.
Yep.
And I just started working out, got a trainer, and just trying to keep my mind busy.
Yeah.
Trying to stay busy with work,
Yeah.
trying to get my stuff going with that, and just the normal stuff per se.
Okay.
Now the haunt industry is very weird right now.
Yeah.
But it's been cool. It's been chill.
Yeah. So now, working out, I've been trying to get more into it. I started in the beginning, got a little more weights. I recently got a bench. But as you know, I'm not fast food, but just food just comes more important. And then you just kind of put the weight down and that just happens, right?
Oh, 100%, dude. Yeah.
Now for work, what are you doing for work?
So right now, I know you mentioned I used to work for Disneyland for like 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 3 years, 3.5 years. Now I work for hotels for a living.
Got it.
I work with JW Marriott. It's like
Okay.
a brand new 5-star in Anaheim.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing now. But with COVID and everything, I've been furloughed. So
gotcha.
I'm just kind of like hanging out,
Yeah.
kicking it.
Yeah. Are you now with the hotel? What kind of work? Are you a performer there?
No. My performer days are kind of long and gone. I kind of do them here and there with Decayed and stuff like that. But,
Okay.
I'm just like a front desk representative over there.
Okay.
And my boss knows I have a background in entertainment and like sports entertainment, stuff like that. So he was like, "Hey, can you be our VIP liaison?"
Yeah.
So I kind of do a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been kind of weird, but it's been chill.
Okay, nice. Now I gotta ask you, because when I saw this, and I messaged you about it too, I was like, dude, this is awesome. I gotta ask you about your LASIK surgery whole experience.
Dude.
Because as you can see, I have glasses.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it, I'm planning on it, but even for the people listening, watching, tell me about your experience. Tell me about that whole thing.
Okay, yeah, for sure. The LASIK experience, it kind of happened on a whim.
How long did you have glasses, by the way?
Since I was 9. So now I'm about to be 29, so 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so a long time. I had glasses, contacts,
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
And, I was getting tired of just like putting them in and falling asleep with them, and you can contest to it. Like,
Yeah.
you fall asleep in your glasses, then you break them.
Yeah.
And then you fall asleep with your contacts on, and you're like dry-eyed.
Yeah.
So one night, I think it was like back in June, I was kind of just laying there, and I was like looking at Yelp, and I was like, man, I want to find a doctor like to get my
Yeah.
eyes done. I got this money from unemployment.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course,
I
get it
want to
done.
do something, you know what I mean? And I looked into it, and this guy popped up. His name was Greg Feiderman, and I was like, all right, cool. He has the same name, cool dude. And then I saw, as soon as I was like scrolling through, he did like Kobe Bryant's eyes.
Oh,
he did
wow.
Kehlani's eyes,
Wow.
Meg Thee Stallion, like all this stuff.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, dude, like, this is the guy.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I was like, oh, he's only charged like $5,000. And
Uh-huh.
in my head, I was like, man, like I can't pay $5,000. Like
Yeah.
it's impossible. And I looked on his website, free consultation.
Okay.
So-
That's a start.
It's a start.
That's a perfect
I went,
start.
free. I'll drive out to Newport, and he works out in Newport, so drove out there, and everyone was super nice. It's like an old like pharmacy clinic building kind of, but it's like 10 stories, and then his is at the top, and I was like, okay, cool. Like it looks super old, and then you go into his office, brand new. Like,
Wow.
everything. So they,
Yeah.
they go over through the eyes, and I'll say the part that hurt the most was the consultation than the surgery.
Interesting. What's the consultation?
So the consultation is weird. So they got to measure like your eye inside and out and behind your eye.
So what do they do?
So basically, with that being said, when they said they had to measure your eye, I was like, oh, cool. Like, that's normal. Like, if you ever gone to an eye doctor. But then when they saw, like, the inside and like, the back of your eye, I was like, whoa, this is about to get, like, weird. So it's kind of like they put you in, like, all these series of tests. Like, it took maybe 2 hours, and it's just, like, a series of tests, like, to make sure your eyes can take a laser surgery.
Directly to the eye.
Like, directly to the eye and not, like, go blind. Because there's, like, a 50% chance you can go blind, they said.
And those are some odds,
dude,
man.
that's what I'm saying. It's like you say 50% chance. I'm sitting here going, no, like maybe I don't know. Like it starts to make you start like second guessing everything. Yeah. And basically, you know, they put you in like this weird fair thing. Okay. And it's like a giant light show from like EDC. Like, have you ever seen like a light show from any show? It's insane. And so I was just like sitting there and I was just like, oh my God, this is insane. This is so cool. Put another light show on you. And then they have this like weird thing where you can't move for like 10 seconds straight. And you just stay still. And then it's just this like red light. And then it's like a strobe light. And then it's like back to a red light. And then it's like, all right, we measured the back of your eye. I'm like, huh? Like, what? Okay, cool. Like, am I done? Can I go home? But I'm telling you, dude, on the scale of 1 to 10 on how bad it hurt when you're done with it, like you're so sensitive to light. Like a scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 8.5.
So they did all that kind of testing and stuff, but dude, I was totally thinking like when you said behind the eye, I thought they were gonna stick something like in your eye behind it.
No.
So from all the strobes and everything, did any of that hurt, or your eyes were just sensitive after?
That doesn't hurt. Like that's just like you looking at light. Like if you're looking at light at home or like a street light, but the effects of that, like your eyes are so sensitive to light. Like it's insane.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you do that and 50%. They can't say like maybe 80, 20, 50% you could possibly go blind.
They say 50%. They're like flat out 50%. Everyone's eyes are different. And I went, oh, cool. And like they make you sign like waivers.
Of course.
Make you watch a video, like all this stuff. And then the doctor comes in, the guy who does the surgery, Greg Feinerman, and you meet him at the very end. And he's like, looks at all your stuff. He goes, sometimes people like can't have laser and they have this thing called blade surgery. They cut your eye open with a blade and then they do the laser, but they heal it up like they make the initial cut with the blade. It's super weird.
Okay, so we went past the consultation. Were you feeling nervous at any of these points?
Yeah. When they said the 50% chance, I was like, oh, dude, do I really want to do this? Like,
yeah.
I'm so scared.
Exactly.
But in my head, I was like, I drove here. I drove an hour here. Like, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in it. So he said my eyes were like perfect. And
oh, wait, now... Okay, if he says they're perfect, now is it still a 50-50 chance?
Yeah, it's still a 50-50 chance because you still got to get the laser done. Like you still got to get the cut. You know?
Okay, so now we're getting the surgery done.
Yeah.
How do they do it? What do they do? I think I saw like small videos of it and stuff, but like what's the go ahead, explain it.
No, I posted it on my Instagram like little small clips. And I went at the butt crack of dawn at like 8:00 and so it's kind of weird. They put this like rubbing brown alcohol in your eye. It's super weird. And they give you
Are they like drops?
No, so they give you like a couple of drops and they're like anesthetic drops. But your eye doesn't feel numb or anything. It's just kind of like there.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, cool. But now what?
Yeah.
And you know, like any other kind of goofball person or like. And I don't really get scared of much, but like that kind of your eyes freak you out.
Oh, for sure.
And I was like, all right, cool. Like we're really doing this. And I went at like at 8:00, and then they give you I forgot what the drug is. Not like a Vicodin, but it's like something else. Like people use it. Like people get addicted to this drug. I don't know what it's called. But it's like a pharmaceutical drug.
Okay. So it's like a Vicodin, but
it's like a Vicodin. I forgot what it. Oh, not Adderall. Whatever it is, I forgot.
I'm trying to think of it. I can't think of it.
I don't.
Okay, so it's an addictive drug.
So it's an addictive drug that people get hooked on, and I was like, oh shit! Like they're like, they said you have the option. You can take it now, and it'll like relax you.
Yeah. Or
like you can take it later. And I was like, okay. So I take it, and they walk out the room, and they're like, all right, we'll give you 10 minutes. And I'm like, 10 minutes for what? Like, I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes to me, I was like, 10 minutes felt like an hour. So I'm sitting there playing on my phone. I'm just looking at and he has like, and it's cool though. His office was so cool. He had like a Kobe Bryant mural.
That's awesome.
And it was like when they had the funeral for him. So I was just like staring at it. And I was like, dude.
Yeah.
All right, Kobe went to the sky.
Yeah.
Seriously, just looking at him, like, And then they come back. Oh, how do you feel? I don't know, like normal.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to feel?
Yeah.
And so they take you to the next room, and the doctor is like loud air. Like it sounds like a wind tunnel's in there, but it's just
Like
a
you're
room.
about to like fly off.
Like, yeah, and it's just like, and you just see this machine. You're just like, oh, this is really happening. Like
Yeah.
this is happening.
Yeah.
And you lay there, and then he like tapes your eyes open, dude. But the whole time he's playing like hip hop. He's playing like Drake, playing The Baby, playing like Migos. Just
Okay.
cool, like just normal. And I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
who are you?
Yeah.
Why? You are a white man from from like Newport Beach. Like what? And he has like his assistant, and then he's talking to you the whole time. Like it's like you're hanging out with a homie.
That's awesome.
And he's working on your eye.
Yeah.
But he does one eye at a time. And the crazy part is you do go legally blind for 30 seconds. That's the initial cut.
My goodness. Okay.
So like to say that you go legally blind, the best way what it feels like, I'm not a blind person. So, sorry if anyone blind is listening to this, but it's like you're in space. Like you ever been on Space Mountain? It looks like that.
Well, like, I mean, I would figure how I picture that is if you close your eyes, you can't see.
But
or is it different?
It's different. It's not like that. I thought it was like that too. You close your eyes, you can't see. It's like, all right, I'm blind. No, it's like you close your eyes and you just see little dots everywhere.
What
like little
the heck?
space dots.
Wow.
And then he pulls it off, and then your depth perception, dude, is insane. Like you don't understand. Like, I mean, people don't really see, figure out their eye. But he's like telling me about like the layers and stuff like that while he's cutting it. He's like, all right, now I'm removing your corneal flap, which is like what we use for depth perception, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He removes it, dude, and everything's like blurry. Like I thought he was like a lot closer than what he was, and it was just weird. And you're just staring, but the whole time they're putting drops in your eyes, like the whole time, drops. You don't feel nothing, and then they count you down from like 30, and then the scariest part, dude, is
it doesn't. I thought we were past the scariest.
No, this is the scariest part.
Oh my goodness!
You smell the laser turn on, and it smells like burning hair.
Oh man!
And you're just like, this is happening.
Yeah.
Here we go. And he's like, all right, 3, 2, and then goes 1, and he turns it on, and all you see is like this like pattern of lights, like just going in your eye, and you're staring at this pattern of lights. And he's like, you're doing fine. You're not moving. You're not flinching. Like you're good. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? And then he switches over to the right eye, does the same thing. And then as soon as he's done, it was like maybe a 10-minute surgery. And then he's done, he lays you up. And at first I thought it didn't work because I stood up and everything was so blurry.
Yeah.
He was like, oh no, we just put steroids in your eyes. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, thanks. And then one of my friends came and picked me up, and they were all like, how do you feel, dude? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like fine. I guess.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we got in the car, like, I looked at my wrist. I wear this like little wristband, and I could see like the wording, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like,
it was effective like immediately.
Immediately, like,
wow.
Like maybe took like 5 minutes for like my eyes to like kind of start understand like it's not me.
Yeah.
But I fell asleep in the car like on the way home, and then when I woke up, when I got home from falling asleep, it was like I was out for like 9 hours, and I woke up and my eyes felt like there was like hair in them, sand in them, like crying, like.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like weird. Like I was crying clear, and then I wiped one time. I was crying blood, and they said that's normal, which is crazy.
My goodness!
Yeah.
Wow. So now, how do they prevent you from moving? Because I'm assuming that's pretty freaking important.
No, you lay there. Like
no, but like they've never had no one move.
Oh, they said they have people move, but the machine that they use is like so advanced that if you move your eye like a certain way while the laser is happening, the laser automatically shuts off. And then they reposition you, then it continues where it stopped at.
So how does the eye heal?
So the eye heals terribly. Like the healing process sucked.
Yeah.
It was like dry eye like all the time. Think you have like sand or like hair in your eye, like eyelash in your eye. And it's super dry constantly. And you have to put these drops in like every 10 seconds, like not 10 seconds, like maybe like 5 minutes or so. But the drops are like, they come in 30 in a pack from CVS, and then they're like $16 a pack. And I went through those like Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
So you can and I'm still going through them right now. Like,
wow.
But not as crazy. But the process of healing is like weird. Like the next day I could see that like 20/20. Like colors were a lot brighter. Like things were a lot more clear.
Now you could see better than when you had glasses?
Oh, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. The only thing that's kind of weird right now for me personally, they said everyone's cases at night. Things are kind of still like blurry-ish for me. Like, but they said that at night's the harder healing point instead of like daytime.
Yeah.
Because your eyes react different to like light than the sunlight. I don't know. And because I asked them, I was like, yo, like everything's still blurry. They're like, oh, that's normal. And but yeah, it's weird. Like I could see so much clearer.
That's insane. But I'm assuming you would recommend it.
Yeah, 100%. If anyone, you know, I'm gonna put a plug out to Dr. Feinerman. If anyone wants to go to, you know, Greg Feinerman's office, he's in Newport Beach. His Instagram is Feinerman Vision. Free consultation, and then he was running a special all of COVID. I thought it was gonna be $5,000. It was $3,100, and you have to pay it flat out. So I'll take it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So now I gotta sit and do my research before I go because I'm like, I still can't get over a 50% chance.
50% chance.
My goodness.
It's just like that is what it is. Like some doctors say it's less, but they were like flat out. His office was so cool. Like they were just like, yeah, there's a 50% chance. Some people, you know, we do it on. Some people we don't. It just matters on your eye. I was like,
I wonder if they've had any cases personally, if like anyone has gone blind.
Oh, I don't think so. This guy is like the #1 guy in like Southern Orange County.
Yeah.
Like he's top notch.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's crazy. Well, I'm happy for you that you got it done and all that kind of stuff. So like kind of moving on, how we met. Basically, the first time I think I met you was at Knott's.
Yeah.
Not Scary Farm. I met you with Aaron. I was with Aaron. And you were in like the clown kind of area and stuff right there.
Yeah.
Right? When I met you that year, what year was that for you?
I'm trying to think what mask you saw me in.
It was you were dressed in like what mask? It was like a red eye.
I had a red eye and I had a black eye, right?
Yeah.
That was my last year in Carnival, so I think that was my 5th year of working Scary Farm. Yeah, that was my 5th year.
5th year.
Yeah, 5th year.
How'd you get into it?
I was always a fan of the event. My story is kind of weird. I used to go to the event all the time when I was like 12, 13.
Okay.
And I was like addicted. Like I was a haunt fan before haunt fans were a thing.
Okay.
Like and I was like addicted. And then my mom bought me this DVD called Seasons of Scream.
Interesting.
And it was at the Knott's, you know, like little purchase store.
Yeah.
It was like a $10 DVD, and I watched it religiously. Like come home from school, watch it.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't doing anything. I'm watching the DVD, and I wanted to know like how to become a slider, how to become a monster.
Yeah.
And I was like addicted, and then it just happened. You know, like being a black dude like from Long Beach, black people really don't like horror to start, and so I always I would like draw. I'm telling you, dude, like I would draw mazes like in my notebook in high school, like
nice,
all the stuff I would want to do, and then I came into fruition when I was 18. You know what I mean? Like.
Now, did you know someone working there, or you just walked in and said, "Hey, I want to audition"?
Dude, when I started the event in 2010, we had a camp out. I don't know if you knew this.
No.
But yeah, back in the day in Knott's, it's very different from Universal Studios. Very, very different.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, so very different. So in 2010, we had a camp out all night. It was like unofficial, official, and like all the old school like haunt veterans that were like, it was like hazing. Like it was like a haunt hazing.
Really?
You get out there the night before at like 9 o'clock. And it was like you wait outside the employment office of Knott's, which is like you can see it walking at Knott's anytime.
Yeah.
And you wait outside, and then these dudes are veterans wearing these jerseys, and like I didn't know anybody. I didn't know a single soul. I was just a fan of the event.
Yeah.
And I waited all night, and then 7 o'clock hit. They were like, all right, we're officially making the line. And then like the line was somewhere else, so everyone like sprinted from this one spot that they said that the line was at originally, but it wasn't the official Knott's people. It was like people said, oh, we're going to line up here, and it became like a mad sprint to like, you could have waited all night, and it was like a mad sprint. Like if you get your spot, you get your spot. You know what I mean?
So like before you even started it, everyone had to camp out?
Everyone had to camp out.
Like, so if you didn't camp out, you couldn't.
You didn't do the event. It was like an open hire. It was like an open call.
Wow.
Yeah, and you had to camp out. And I'm talking about, dude, people, it was like 400, 500 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, is it in the front, like where the gates are?
Yeah, where the gates. Not where the main gates are. There's like where the Knott's Hotel is.
Okay.
There's like a little bungalow over there, and that's their employment hiring area.
Yeah.
And that's where they did it, like back in the day. But back in the day, they never had mazes backstage where they have them now.
Yeah.
So they had us like kind of hang out back there and just wait around.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, and so when they said that we're officially like the line starts here, dude, I remember I had like a cooler, I had a lawn chair, I threw them and I just ran, and I was like number like 85.
Wow.
Yeah,
Out of like 400 or 500
like
people.
400 or 500 people, and I wanted this job so bad, like so bad.
Now I know Universal's like they say not to. Are you allowed to talk about the audition?
Yeah, I mean, Universal's like rules are so different than Knott's. We talk about the audition all the time. We practice auditions back in the day. Like when I was a monster, when I'm like a super geek, like yeah, dude, we used to practice auditions all day.
So what would your audition be to? Yeah.
So like for streets or just like in general?
Well, I would say in general because I don't think you can. I don't know, but with Knott's, you can't just say I want to be on streets or I want to be in maze, right?
No. So now it's not. Now it's not like that.
Because back then it used to be.
Back then it used to be like that.
Oh,
so
okay.
back then, so I'll tell you, like when I started Haunt, it was like mazes. It was like I want to be in a maze. Okay, here's a paper. What maze you want to be in? Like that's how it was. Just like okay, we don't care. Like what maze you want to be in. Mm-hmm. And then if you wanted to go to streets,
Streets is like the big leagues.
Yeah, streets is like the dream.
Yeah,
like, streets was like like the show.
Of course,
you know what I mean, and everyone wanted to go to streets.
Yep.
Everyone wanted to be a slider. Everyone wanted to be a main character or makeup. And then streets, they gave me an audition, and they were just like, and they had a limited spots. They like on open hires, they were like, all right, we have like 10 spots for streets. We have everything full because back then streets were like the creme de la creme. Like no one was leaving.
Yeah,
and but. I wasn't in Street Zone my first year. I ended up in a maze because I wanted to audition for Streets, and then they were like, "Oh, Streets auditions are closed. We only have maze spots." And then I was like, "All right, cool." And then they were like, "Do you want to be in a ride?" And I went, "Sure." So I was in the mine ride.
Oh. The mine ride is so like you can't really do much for anyone that. But I mean that it's your first year, so it was my first year.
I was hyped, and then. That story is kind of weird of how I got put on the streets. My story is very very different. So one night it was like a Wednesday or Thursday that when we used to have Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I was in a room in the mine ride where my tether. There was always stories of the mine ride being haunted. Always.
I've heard that as
well.
A
million stories.
Yep.
And like before they redesigned it, I'm telling you, dude, it was creepy. Like old, creepy, dirty, dusty. Like disgusting.
Yeah.
And this room I was in, I used to be tethered to a wall, and I could run out from like behind a wall and like scare him, and then like go snap me back, and like I'm trying to reach for the train. Like it was like I was going full bore.
Yeah.
But a couple of times that season, my tether kept snapping, and they were like, and it's a metal tether, and they're like, "What's up with your tether?" Like, and I was like, I don't know. Like I don't know. The one night. There used to be like a lot of animals and rats that lived in it, and they have these little kill boxes on the train tracks that like if someone hits it, like it's over. You know what I mean? So it was like maybe 9 o'clock, and then I heard something like behind me, and I was like tripping, and I heard someone walk up the stairs, and I was like ran back, and I looked up the stairs, and I was like, hello. No one answered, and I was like, hey, stop playing. But the way I went back, it was like no way you weren't going to see anybody. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's weird. And like my partner went to like lunch, and I was like, this is weird. Like what? And then all of a sudden I felt a tug on my tether, and I was like, yo, stop playing. Like stop. I'm like 18 years old. I'm freaking out in a quiet room. For sure. And next thing you know, I came out, my tether snapped in half. And then as soon as my tether snapped, the lights came on for the ride. Like it was like the ride got killed. So I took off my tether. I went to my manager at the time. I was like, hey, dude, like this sucks. Like what happened? He goes, oh, this is weird. That's like the 4th time that happened to you. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. He's like, are you trying to do this on purpose? I was like, no, like I don't know. I just told him the story. He's like, that's really weird. And then he goes, why don't you go be a exit monster for the mine ride? When when guests came off the train, and if you ever been on the mine ride, they have that little, like weird tunnel, and they have this like little street zone out there in between the mine ride and the log ride. And my manager was like, why don't you just go out there for the rest of the night? We won't put you in your room. And I was like, all right, cool, dude, whatever. And I ran amok. I was jumping over trash cans, scaring. And then one of the managers of Haunt, like the overall Haunt, saw me scare, and he didn't know who I was. And he went to my manager. He's like, who's that guy? And then he said my name. And then the manager of Haunt told them to leave me out there for the rest of the year. Wow. And then when I went to the next year for the rehires, that same manager, his name's Craig, he used to be like we used to call him the Haunt Father, because he was like the godfather of Haunt, dude. He was the G. Like he had this look to him where like you did not want to mess with this man. Yeah. And he's an old original ghost town monster, like from when Haunt first started. And then that next year when I went into my audition, he was like, oh, you're the guy from Mine Ride. He didn't even say my name. He was like, "You're the kid from Mine Red." And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, give me your audition." He goes, "You're a werewolf. Put your pants on fire. Go." I said like maybe one word. He's like, "All right, you're on streets." Like,
you didn't even start the audition?
I barely moved. I like hit the floor and I turned around and I like did like a maybe howl. And then he was like, "All right, you're on streets." I was like,
Maybe he already wanted you on streets.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did. Me and him grew like a great friendship like throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's not working on it anymore. But yeah.
So I'm assuming now, like nowadays, so years into it, all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming auditions aren't the same.
Oh no,
like
God, no.
like there's not the camp out and everything.
No.
So now, what would an audition look like? So if someone walks in brand new and they're like, "Yo, I want to audition for Streets."
So now you got to make a reservation online.
Okay.
Through like Knott.com, and if you have anybody on Facebook or whatever, you'll see like everyone blow it up like from the haunt industry. And make a reservation. You go to your reservation time at like 9. It's like from 9 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
But the earlier the better. The first day, and the audition is now a group audition. They kind of do like I haven't been to the audition in the past 2 years from me being a manager, but I know it's a group audition. They make you do a scenario like you're the devil at Starbucks ordering a cold drink. Go.
And you talk as well?
They want to see you talk, and they want to see if you're like verbal, but NASA started kind of eliminating verbal roles, and we're kind of starting like universal, like it's a track.
Quiet.
It's a track role. The only talents that are like really able to talk are like kind of street talents.
Yeah.
But the maze talents that are only allowed to talk this past year was infected. The maze I was in charge of, their squad leaders were the only allowed ones, like the ones allowed to like talk unless you had a scripted role. Yeah. And it's just to eliminate a lot of hassle we used to have back in the day. And but yeah, so but now it's more like they make you do that, and then they say we want to see you be a ghoul. And then you have to move like a ghoul. Then like, while you're moving like a ghoul, give me a clown. Then you transition to a clown. And then from there, they make their cuts, and they're like, all right, they bring people in individually, and they're like, all right, I have 7 roles for the Hollow. Mm-hmm. I need to see a black scarecrow. Go.
Wow.
And it's just like, you got to be on the fly. A lot different from Universal. You know what I mean? Like a lot.
Do you know our audition, by the way?
I know. I've heard stories of it.
Okay.
And like from doing the industry, like from knowing you, Aaron, Joey, Sarah, Gabby, all of them, you know, like I've heard like it's like you scare a cone.
That's what I've heard. I didn't have to do that.
You didn't have to do that?
No. Okay, I'll tell you mine after. But so real quick, so you did that. Now, tell me how Seaweed became this character. This like how did that develop? How did you, because I'm gonna let everyone know watching, listening, this guy, how he's talking now and energetic and everything, he's still energetic, but he turns into this guy's like a method scarer. He turns into this completely different person, different voice, different everything, and he immerses. He's a great scare actor. That's the thing though. So.
Yeah. The way Seaweed kind of came about, my buddy Mike Beggs, his nickname Death.
By the way, I have one of his shirts.
Oh, so Mike, I've been knowing Mike for a long time, since like 2011, like a long time. And one day we were at the slider practice, and the way my nickname came about is not like seaweed when you guys think about like seaweed like water. It's like seaweed as in like the musical Hairspray. Because the girl I was dating at the time was like a white chick, and I used to be a dancer, and so he put 2 and 2 together. He goes, "Hey, do you have a haunt name?" I went, "No." Like, no. And he goes, "Your name's Seaweed." And I was like, cool. And it just stuck. But the aggression of the character that you normally see, and like that style of scaring that I have, I think maybe I'm very nice throughout the year. I'm like just very cool dude, like super chill. But I have a very big passion for musical theater that a lot of people don't know about, and I love the musical Newsies.
Oh.
And I was stuck on the movie like a long time ago, and I read the story and a lot of history. Like before this was a musical, but it was like the Disney movie with Christian Bale and whoever else, a few other people, and the dude for like Mighty Ducks was in there. But I read their story and like the actual historical facts. The kids who were Newsies were like nitty gritty. Like,
oh, really?
They were grinding. They did not care. They'll push people out the way, like just bullies.
So that's where you got it from?
And that's where I kind of got it from. I was just kind of like, you know what? Like if I'm going to portray a Newsie, like I got to be like these kids. They're from like New York. They were like from the streets, like homeless. Like imagine like a 14-year-old homeless kid. Like trying to sell newspapers. Like he's a G. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of took that idea and just like that swagger and that attitude. And, you know, I was like, I'm going to act like I'm from like the streets, you know, like if I'm from the streets of like scaring, I'm going to be from the streets, like from these kids. They were always like my passion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, amazing. But that's awesome. That's funny that you got it from there. Now, how did you, because I know we talked about this a little bit, but how did you bridge the gap in a sense between the different haunts? Because I know you probably know Squeaks from Queen Mary and all that kind of stuff. So how did you bridge everyone?
It's kind of weird to say. I'm not like one of the first people to bridge. I know I'm kind of am, but like not really at the same time. I know back in the day there was a lot of beef, like super mad beef
between just all the haunts,
between Universal Studios and Knott and Queen Mary. Like there was just like mad yapping.
Dude, there's beef just to tell you, just beef at Universal. That beef just starts out. But go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Like there was beef, and one day I think sliding kind of became like that bridge per se. And like one day I met like Ken, and I met Aaron.
Ken's awesome.
And like me and him just kind of clicked. We were like both black dudes from like horror, and I was like, "Oh, you're cool. Hey, what's up, bro?" Like we just kind of then like I met Gabby and I met Adam Wiley and Joey, and it just came like this effect. And then how I met Squeaks from like Queen Mary, there was like this weird animosity between Decayed Brigade and Queen Mary. And we like did not talk. We did not talk. We just passed by each other, didn't say a word. And then one day, I think we had that slider, the sliding, not the sliding show. I mean,
it was like everyone got together, right?
It was like not even that. It was that the movie, the Sliders of Ghost Town.
Oh,
yeah, the movie that we were all in, that most of us from Ghost Town were in. All of the Queen Mary's dudes came out and saw it, and we were like, "Shit, what's up?" Like,
yeah,
what's up? And then they were like, yo, that was actually really cool. Then like last one kind of Halloween convention started coming up, and Decayed started like growing and they were like, well, we've been here, and they were like, well, we're better than you. Like, hey,
yeah.
But
and get into that as you go. Like how I mean, you're wearing the hat.
Yeah.
How that started.
But to get to like finish the first one, it's like we kind of like squared up, and we're just like, hey, what's up, bro? Like, hey, like it was just kind of funny. We became friends, you know what I mean? Then one night we all went to Queen Mary and we watched their show, and we all sat there respectfully. And then it was like weird. The crowd was like, oh my God, they're here. Oh my God, they're here. Like you could hear it. Like they're like, oh my God, they're here. Like, oh, something's happening. Something's going to happen. But the way Decayed came out, 1 year in 2013, Knott's, the OM of Knott's, Rafi, we used to have sliding shows at Knott's. And like Knott's was known for sliding shows. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like the sliders, back in the day, dude, like back in the 90s and 80s, they used to put like slider shows before the hanging. Like just like Knott's put that on.
Yeah.
And like it was actually really cool. I remember that when I was a kid going in the early 2000s, like seeing that.
Yeah.
And when I became a slider, I got to do a couple shows, luckily, before they got taken away. But the OM wanted us to stay in character more, which I understood. I respect it. We were breaking character. We'll be like goofing around. Like it's one way to pay a ticket, and then like you see guys like acting normal. Like it ruins the experience. Yeah. So you stopped it, and then we heard about this convention called Scare LA, and we were like, Scare LA. Decay wasn't a thing then, and I got asked to, join the group of performers, and they were like, hey, do you want to, do a slider show at this Halloween convention? I was like, sure. I was like 21 at the time, 21, 22. And I went, sure, whatever. And it was so bad. It was like, if you look at our first videos, we're not even Decayed Brigade. It's just like 2013 Scare LA sliders. And we have like this terrible show, and it was like god awful makeup, and like, oh dude, don't even get me started. It was so bad in so many ways. But we were just sliding, having fun, goofing around. And then the next year, Scare LA was like, you guys are great. We need to put an official team together. Like, you guys are awesome. And they're like, we'll give you and they gave us half of the convention's floor, like in the middle of the convention.
Wow.
Which is insane to think about.
This is a huge, I think it's one of the biggest haunt conventions, right?
Well, Scare LA is no longer a thing. Midsummer Scream's now like the Comic-Con.
There you go.
That. And so the Decayed Brigade just kept going and getting bigger and bigger, and then Midsummer Scream came out. And I remember when we saw Midsummer Scream's floor plan, and we were like, this thing's gonna be huge. Yeah. And like, I think that year we did the year with the bed that like everybody knows in 2016. Yeah. Or 2016 we did a year with the bed, and it was like we did a dream, a nightmare, and a battle. And that year we came out as a group, and we were like, our colors are black and white. We're all going to be black and white characters. This is our story. And like, this is what you get.
Wow.
And dude. And it just boomed. Like,
yeah.
And I'm one of the OG members on the team. A lot of people you see on the team now weren't on the very original team.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe like 3 or 4 of us left.
Who are the original ones?
The ones that are still original is Spats, Beggs, and me. And
Beggs still does it?
Beggs didn't do it the past couple years. I think due to injury and like a few other like life matters. I don't really, you know, that's not my business to disclose or anything. But you know, he's one of the OGs. You know, and and like so it's weird to say like 7 years later, where it's weird. Like I think one year we went to Horror Nights, and it was outside the team. We wore our jerseys and wore our hats, and it was so weird to see like people wearing our hats, our T-shirts, our jackets, like at Universal Studios. Like these people chose to wear like that, and then like the conventions, like people are buying our merch like left and right. Like we sell out the first day of merch. Wow. And we're like, dang, like, and we only have like extra larges left, like extra larges or like something big. You know what I mean? And we're just
that's awesome.
Like,
it's become this big thing.
And like, you know, it's weird to say, but like. Like backstage at Knott's one year, there was like an animosity towards the Decayed Brigade. Like,
well, yeah,
because like we all worked at Knott's together, but we all had this brotherhood, and people thought we were like trying to segregate ourselves, and we're like, no, you got to realize we are a group of friends that train a year-round practice that we should not be doing year-round. We should not be sliding year-round. There's no reason. I've never gotten $1 for doing Decayed Brigade.
Yeah,
I just do it for fun and just the passion of it, you know. And Knott's one year was like backstage, they're kind of like, you guys can't wear your jerseys, you can't wear your hats, you can't wear this. And we're like, why? It's just like another piece of clothing like Nike or Adidas. Yeah. And we got mad. And they were like, yeah, like this little like hangout, you guys, because we all went on break together. We all went to makeup. And we didn't plan it. Our makeup times lined up all at the same time or like staggered. Like you go at 6, I go at 6:30. He goes at 7, he goes at 7:30. And then like the group goes at 7:45. Like it was just staggered. And we happened to all be in makeup, like, and all be in Ghost Town. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was weird. But it's just weird. Like the growth of it is still blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
it would have happened probably this year as well, but since everything went down,
I ain't gonna lie. Some stuff that we had planned this year was gonna be sick. It was
really
pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay.
We bring like if anyone on this podcast listening or watching, like if you know Decayed Brigade, you know that we break the barriers of what you can do with sliding with on your hands and knees. Like, and if you don't know it, you need to go watch it. Yeah. Because it's pretty sick.
Yeah. Totally recommend it.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Now, going back to Knott's and working there, what are some behind the scenes or some things that go on at Knott's as the haunt event is going on and everything?
Universal can contest to it. We train our monsters before they become monsters.
Yeah.
We don't just like throw a mask on you saying, all right, good luck. Like we have like, it's kind of cool. We have like a movie night, like, so we get to know each other. We have like a training night.
Yeah.
We have like, we have dress rehearsals. We have like rehearsals, like with like, this is your street zone. This is your maze. We have scare schools for like maze kids. Like we put them in their rooms. We teach them how to be a monster. We teach them their rooms. Like there's specific characters.
Yeah.
Cause some people come working, you know, Knott's and they're just like, oh, I just want to scare somebody. There's a lot more to that. You know what I mean? Like we got to teach you like your room is specifically like your character. And we show them like how to work a wall or work a room, or we're like, I think one thing I used to always try to teach the people, don't be a wall hugger. Like me becoming a manager, I used to tell like my zombies, like, don't hug a wall. If I see you hugging a wall, like I'm gonna tell you to get off the wall. You know what I mean? So I tell people how to work a room, like let the area work with you. You know what I mean? So we do a lot of that stuff like backstage. There's a lot of like really cool things. Like a couple of years when I was a talent, we watched like the Elvira show, like before, like it was like a thing. They like gave us like 50% off like at the haunt store, like just for talent. Like it was really cool, like really, really cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the 10 years that you worked there, because you don't plan on going back, right?
Nah.
You're still going to do Decayed, but like not.
Well, as a manager.
Not as a scare actor.
Oh, as a scare. No, my days are done.
Okay,
yeah, my days are done.
Out of the 10 years you were there, what are probably your favorite memories from there when it comes to scaring?
Okay. I don't know. I think for sure I think one was my first time in makeup. I was given a position of like someone who I idolized as a monster, and when I got on Ghost Town, I got his prosthetic.
Oh wow!
And normally this guy worked like 25 years of the event.
Oh,
like
shoot.
he was a G. Like he was like an OG. And normally with guys like that, they do something called retiring your face, and they retire your prosthetic. And I thought they were going to retire his prosthetic.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I mean, when I got put on the Ghost Town, they were like, "You have his prosthetic," and I went, "Oh wow." Like,
yeah.
And I think my first time in makeup, I remember everyone like seeing me and they were like, "You look just like him." And like I think that was like one of my coolest memories. But like scare acting wise, like one of my favorite scares.
Yeah.
I remember one time it was like at the main gate where, if you guys don't know what main gate is when you first walk into Knott's.
Yeah.
There's a very specific list of talent that can be up there, and it's only Ghost Town talent. And it's like only about like 12 of us, and it's like 6 in the first half, 6 in the second half. And when I say first half, it's like first half is when we first open the gates, like rub drop. That's how everyone knows. But then the second half of makeup is like we have a makeup time from like 7:45, which everyone wants because you can like there's no one there's no one after you.
Yeah.
So the makeup artist like normally like does super crazy detail like on like your face.
Yeah.
And luckily I was on the second half group, but I was scaring up there, and I saw this girl. And if you look at Knott's, there's like a photo booth, and there's like a wooden wall, and there's like this little like fake prison thing, like that you can put your face behind. You know, if you've ever been to Knott's, you can see it. And there's this girl standing there, and I was like, oh man, she's like asking for it. Like she is like, I'm gonna light her up, you know? Like, okay. So I come out of a slide, and then I saw her, and she was still standing there, and she didn't know I was coming. Like she was like walking, and then I scared her, and she turned to go like into the wall, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna get so good.
Yeah.
And I scared her again, and she trips on like the curb, and there's a giant rock, and she's wearing a skirt and like a dress or whatever, and she falls over on the rock and just whew,
Wow.
butt booty naked.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, oh my god, like best scare ever. Like, dude, I'll never forget that. Or the one time I scared this girl like so bad, she like it's bad to say, but she like had like a panic attack.
Oh yeah.
And like they had like escort her like out like on like a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna do my job.
Is it pretty normal for you to get something called drops? That's everything I would always go for. Drops is, in a sense, is like you just drop someone to the floor. It's pretty common for that to be on streets, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how like Universal is. Like, is that what you guys call them? Drops?
I mean, I call them drops. I don't know what the other guys call them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just call it dropping. We just call it dropping someone.
Oh, okay.
And like all the time, dude. Like being a slider and like being even when I was a clown, like dropping someone was so like casual to me. They come out of a slide and like you get someone out of the peripheral, then you pop up and they're just like, they fall. Like there's like, and it's cool when you own somebody. And like I used to have a bad tendency of like standing over people. Like, you know, like you see a football game, you see a big hit, and someone stands over them. I used to do that all the time. I used to get in like a lot of trouble for doing it. And I can't tell you how many times I got rid up for doing that. And I used to stand over. I was like, whoa, let's go. Like break character. And like be in their face.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot, dude. Like all the time.
So I think last question in regards to Knotts, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
But with Knotts, did you ever get anyone that tried to fight you?
Every time.
All the time?
Dude, yeah. Yeah, dude, all the time. Cholos, black people, white people, moms.
What was the reason? Just because you scared them, or?
You scared me too hard. She had enough. Get out of my face, bro. You're not scary. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, oh, you can't touch me. Okay. Like, little stuff. Like, it's just like one time. Oh, dude, my last year being a monster, one time my friend was I came out of a slide and I was looking across. It was like in Fog Alley. My friend was scaring this dude and he was chasing him. And then the dude turned around, like pushed him against the wall and started hitting him.
Yeah.
And I was like right across the alley and no one could see it because it was like in a dark area. And I slid over there and like gave the guy 2 punches and he punched me in the face.
Oh, shit.
And we got the guy kicked out. The kid was like 16 though, we found out.
What the heck?
But he looked like a grown ass man. But people were like trying to, dude, every shift. Every shift. Like, yeah, every shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was never on the street, so I wouldn't attest to like what they go through. I don't think I hung out with Aaron a lot, so I don't think I heard too many stories of him actually having to go through that. That's why I had asked or whatever. Yeah. But okay, so awesome. So moving on, you did mention you were a dancer, into performing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you actually dance for shows and stuff? And if you just kind of trained for it?
I never trained for it.
Oh, so what do you mean by dancer?
No. Are you talking about? Oh, my bad. Are you saying like that I dance for shows like for Disney?
Well, is that what you meant by dancer? Oh. I thought you meant dancer like you're like on like either on the stage, Broadway, or not Broadway, but like show.
Oh, I mean,
or did you mean Disney?
I mean, I danced like dancing, like I danced for like some commercials. I danced for like, some like hip hop teams.
And you didn't train for that?
No,
You just...
I used to be an athlete. I used to be a baseball athlete. Like a lot of people don't know, I had a scholarship for baseball. I had a full ride to Concordia University in Irvine.
Wow.
And then I got injured. And I needed a job, and I was a broke college student.
Yeah.
And one of my gay best friends, Royce, I went to his birthday party like the night before, drunk off my ass, and he was like, "Hey, there's an audition tomorrow for Disneyland," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." Like drunk at like 1:00 in the morning. Audition's at 10:00. Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I go home. He sends me a text in the morning, and he's like, "Are you going to the audition?" I was like, "I don't have a headshot. I don't know how to dance." And he was like, "Go." And I went, "Okay." So I drove to Disneyland. There's like a little casting area over there, and I auditioned, and I got the job.
Wow. Well, so again, now I'm going to ask, what was that audition like?
Oh, that audition was hard. It was like actually kind of, Disney auditions are no joke. Like if you want to dance for Disney, like you got to have some kind of training. Like, I mean, you can be lucky like me, and like if you can count to 10, like and count to 8, like, like you can get by. But that audition was kind of weird. It's like a 600 people, 700 dudes.
Camp out?
No camp out. But some auditions get kind of like that. But I'll tell you an audition that you got to kind of camp out-ish for. But a general audition, you go, you wait, and then they kind of just tell you, like, hey, we're looking for these people, these roles, and then they teach you an 8 count. They just introduce you. They stand in a room. It's like they do 100 people at a time or 150 at a time. And then it's called across the floor. So you learn the count. It's like maybe 3 8 counts. You do it, and then they separate the room, and they like do like one group goes and then the next group goes, and everyone's like clapping, but they're like up tempo. So it's like, all right, next. So you're like, oh my God. So they do across the floor. So they line everybody up on the side of the room, and they stand on this side of the room, and then they make you do the same audition while moving. Mm-hmm. And if you ever like try to dance while moving, it's hard, especially if you learned it like stationary. Yeah. And like learning it stationary is one way, but now doing it while traveling is so much harder. Yeah. And like that simple 8 count struggles because they want to see if you can do it like if you're in a parade. Yeah. And then they see your strength, and they either say to the left or to the right. Most people are to the right. That means you got cut. But if you go to the left, that means you're on the next round. Luckily, I got put on the next round. The guy next to me sucked. So, yeah, dude. So, yeah.
Wow. So you started with that. You got into the role. What was the first parade? And he did mention Disney, but for anyone that doesn't know, he was also a performer at Disneyland in the parade. So just to update you on that. But so what was your first role after your audition?
My first role that I got was Marlin from Finding Nemo in the Pixar Play Parade. Yep. And I was kind of like, okay, what's Marlin? And I was kind of confused. I was like, okay, what's Marlin? You know what I mean? And, I was kind of like, okay. So then it was a puppeteering spot. And to learn how to puppet is like so hard. But the dudes who train you are like, one was from the Muppets. Another one was like the puppet director of like California and Florida. Like the Finding Nemo show out there, like they were legit. And
they make sure,
and then you go through like a week and a half intensive training of like learning the choreography, learning the puppetry, learning everything, and then they make you do it in the Disneyland backstage parking lot. Like it's called looping, and you have to do like looping is no joke, dude. Looping was hard. Like you got to realize you got to do a parade length, which is like 12 loops to like 14 loops, smiling, and it was like summer heat. So it was like how hot it is right now. That's out tough. There. And they just like, you do loops to give you a break, and then the next group goes, and you like, that's your break, and then they make you go back again, and they want to see you like, it's like conditioning. Yep. Yeah.
That's tough. So that was your first role, and then I did also see you did Army Soldier, right?
Yeah, that took me a couple of years to get. It was kind of weird.
Really? You only worked there for 3 years.
I worked there for 3 years. So my story at Disneyland is kind of weird. It was like I did Marlin for a couple of years, and then they put me like a few character roles, like the Heimlich body, and then like the green Martians from Toy Story, which is all like character roles. Where it's like it's just you push it, or like you can see like your feet. Yeah, like stupid roles.
Is it hot in those?
Dude, they're super hot.
Like, they don't have a fan, nothing?
No.
Really?
No, it's just little holes that you see out of, and it's just a little hot fiberglass body and like some heavy shoes. Like,
wow,
terrible, dude.
Wow.
And at Disneyland, you didn't really get guys that were like athletic. So when they got an athletic guy, they're like, oh, we're using him to push. Like, it was like their eyes got lit up. So I used to have not interviews, but talks with my choreographers that I was like, I don't want to do this. I was like, I want to dance.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how to do the ballet spins and jumps and leaps and point my toes, but this one choreographer, he believed in me more than anybody else. His name was David Underwood, and he believed in me like no one else's business. He was like, you know what? I'll give you your shot. And he invited me to a private audition. Like, it was like Disneyland has this thing called private auditions for performers, and it's like word of mouth, or like you just get an email from the casting director, and it's just like you show up, maybe 40 people there, and they just kind of put, and the next thing you know, you're in that role. And like no questions asked. It's like super like secretive. Mm-hmm. And he put me in like a couple private auditions, and all of a sudden it was like the resort knew I knew how to dance. It was like it was like kind of like weird. It was like a snap of a finger. It was just like boom, he's a dancer. Yeah. And I started getting dancing roles. Wow. And then I started doing more. I started doing a lot of special events. I did Comic-Con.
You did you did one where I saw it, and I saw your post. You danced with Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, that was for like his 90th birthday.
Tell me about that experience.
Dude,
for you.
That experience was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life. Like, I've done a lot of shit in my life, but like performing wise, that was like the most stressful, the most hardest thing I've ever done. It was I didn't audition for it. So I got a call. So the casting director of Disneyland Resort called me, and he was like, hey, Greg, like, what are you doing? You know, are you free these days? Can I pull you out of your shifts for this rehearsal? And that's all he said. I went, sure, Greg, like, put me in. Like, let me do it, dude. And he was like, okay, you're going to be at rehearsals this day. And it's an 8-hour rehearsal, which are a myth in Disneyland Performer world, like times. And I showed up to the rehearsal. It was like 16 of us. And it was like the best Disneyland dancers you can think of. Like the guys who were like performers. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what the thing was. We all thought we were like battling out for like a secret audition for like AGVA. We thought like we were getting like picked for AGVA stuff. So we're like, oh shit, like we thought because we heard of like auditions for performers like to go to AGVA, and so that's what we thought. And they're like, all right, we're doing Dick Van Dyke's 90th birthday here at the resort. You guys are going to be training. We're teaching you guys like this hard 8 count. I mean, this like hard routine, and you guys have a week to learn it. And we're going to be in rehearsals for the next week for 8 hours, like continuously. Wow. I remember the girl I was dating at the time. I couldn't even tell her. Like, I remember, I couldn't tell her because she was a performer. My ex-girlfriend at the time was a performer with me at Disneyland. And that's how we kind of met. But I couldn't tell her like, hey, this is what I'm doing. She's like, what are you doing? Like, I saw you got pulled out of rehearsal and like you're dripping in sweat. Like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I'm good. And I'm talking, dude, like we were like,
oh, I can only imagine.
Like when they say like Disneyland caliber, like it was insane. It was insane. Like insane. And and then the day of, they stopped all the parades that day. Like they canceled like one parade. And then all the performers were there. Like all the Disneyland performers were there, and they canceled the first parade to make the second parade go. So like imagine you see all your friends and then you're dressed up like a chimney sweep, and they're like, you're not and like the way Disneyland works out is like you're a California Adventure performer or you're a Disneyland performer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's like one of the two. And that's how they like graph you like in scheduling and everything. And I was a DCA, I was a California Adventure performer. Yep. And when I was Disneyland side, they were like, why are you on Disneyland side? Like, it was like kind of weird. Like, even my manager's like, why are you on Disneyland side? And I went, I don't know. Gilbert called me and put me on Disneyland side. Like, I don't know. It's not my fault. Yeah. But that day, I was dressed up as a chimney sweep, and they make us do the rehearsal. You know, we did like 10 times before that day, and it was gonna be like on the news. It was gonna be like on ABC, like all this stuff. And then Dick Van Dyke walks into the room that we were sitting in, and I like almost lost my shit. I was like, and exactly how you think he is how he really is as in person. Wow. Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah. So from that, you had the performance, and I don't think actually I did, but long ago. Like, did I see it? How was it? How was it performing with him?
Well, he wasn't performing.
He was like riding on
he was riding on a carriage like in front of us. Yeah. But the tempo of it was like insane. They told us like we were have like breaks, And like, dude, we were like winded. I'm talking about winded. Like Disneyland tempo was like normally like fast, but like this was like fast because we had to keep up with the carriage. It was like fast, and the carriage was going fast. And we're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then like the choreography was like like it's just called pulling, and so it pulls you like super fast. And yeah, it was fun. But that day was crazy. It was like the park was sold out. And
come on, it's Dick Van Dyke.
I was like, it was Dick Van Dyke. I did not know how many people love Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It was Mary Poppins right there.
Dude. And it was like Mary Poppins music, and like it was like a remix. And then later we found out they used that like choreography and that music and like an ABC special like a couple years later with like Derek Huff.
Wow.
And we were like, whoa. like I was like,
dude, Derek Huff is amazing at what he does.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know if you're able to talk about this, but I've always wondered, so you've obviously been behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've ran into characters and all that stuff. How is it from their on performance to their off performance? Is it like how they portray on TV where they have their head off and just taking a smoke break?
It's like I can't really say. I can't
say what you can if you can't. Yeah.
I don't really want to say like that exactly.
Well, you don't have to say smoke.
No, they don't smoke. But like you lose the magic. Like I'll say like it's called losing the magic. And like I can't go to Disneyland the same. Like even when I have kids or whenever.
Because what you've seen.
Because of what I've seen and what I know.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so maybe it's better than not.
It's weird, but like I'll say my job, like it was weird. Like I'll be like getting ready for parades, and like you see a stormtrooper walk by, or like you see like the new character that's getting released in a month. That's like a myth on like Disneyland blogs and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, it's actually really happening. I'm like, huh? Like oh, look at Pocahontas and Aladdin. Like it's so casual, and it just gets weird. But like I don't know. Yeah. You see a lot of things that I can't really say like online, but like you see a lot of things that you're like, oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Like,
okay. So then let me ask this. I think this is more, are the characters such as the princesses and stuff like that, are they as nice off as they are on?
Oh yeah. They're sweethearts.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. They're some of the girls that I know, that work characters, they're sweethearts. Like they're nicest people you ever meet. Some of them take it a little too far. Like you do get some people who are like rude, but being a Disneyland performer, like it's like you get two sets of princesses. You have the character princesses, which are like the ones that you meet and greet, and you have the princesses that are the princesses on parades that are on the floats. Yeah. And so I remember had the ones on the floats, and they were like always cool or whatever. Like, they were just always talking to me.
Okay, awesome. So you worked there for 3 years. Did you stop because you wanted to, or what happened there?
No, I stopped because I kind of wanted to, but I also stopped because my shows got cut. Working in the world of entertainment, you're not guaranteed anything.
Of course.
And so one day I went into work, and then I was in Paint the Night and A Christmas Fantasy and Pixar all at the same time, and they were like, "All right, all 3 of your shows are getting cut." Mm-hmm. You know, like they're no longer going to be here for 6 months to a year.
Wow.
And we went, oh shit. Okay. And imagine telling like a whole department of like performers that is cut, and they're like, yeah, we'll reach out to certain people about special events and about, you know, the electrical parade, the old electrical parade coming back, and they had like a private audition for that. And at that time in my life, I was like, you know what? Like I've done this for 3 years. My knees hurt. My back is all jacked up. Like, time to look for another job. And I just kind of used it. I was like, you know, it's my time to go. Like, it's one of those things. So,
okay. So, I mean, I feel like we covered everything there. Now, I do want to say, so you discussed everything in your performing days. You've had a long run in that regard. You currently work at a hotel as a front desk and stuff like that. What is next for Mr. Greg? Is that where you see, I doubt it is, but is that where you see planning your flag, or is there something that you have that you want to do in the future, or anything?
Kinda. I mean, it's kind of in that point. I'm kind of at that point in my life where I'm like, I kind of did everything I always wanted to do. I mean, I used to work for the Clippers as a stage manager. I worked for the Dodgers as an entertainment coordinator. Yeah. And I did those, and you know, that field was fun to work in. I mean, I always thought about getting back into it, but it's like no guaranteed like full-time stuff. Of
course.
But you know, I don't even know how to like, I think I'm very set in hotels. There's a lot of money in hotels. Yeah. I don't have a degree, so like you don't need a degree for hotels. It's kind of like Google, Facebook, Apple. Like, you know, you don't really need a degree like to be on salary or like be full time. And, you know, I worked so hard to get to like the hotel I'm at now, and the career that I'm at now, that I'm kind of okay with just becoming one day becoming a general manager.
Okay.
And GMs make like $100,000 a year. So,
hey, that works.
So, like, it works. And I'm kind of at the point in my life where I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm about to be 30, like, next
super
year.
young, man.
And I was saying, like, I'm about to be 30, like, in like a couple years.
30, time to kick back.
I know.
Relax.
But I'm just like, I kind of want to, like, I feel like I just need to start thinking about like bigger things.
Yeah.
Like when I want kids, and,
of course,
you know, like when do I want to do stuff? You know, my dream would be like to be a set designer for like Scary Farm, or
that'd
like,
be awesome.
You know, like something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I think I'm kind of set in like, you know, what I want to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Hey, well, you've had an amazing track record. You've done so much.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
I think
like I've done 10 years of work.
Yeah,
so.
you've done a lot. So I mean, that is it. That is it with this podcast. If anyone wanted to check you out, where can they possibly find you?
You guys can just check me out. My Instagram's GregD619. Or you can just add me on Facebook. I'm really not weird. I'm just like Greg Daniels is my Facebook name. I'll pop up. But yeah, that's about it, dude. Really.
Awesome. Well, that is it for this episode. I hope you learned so much and enjoyed it. It was very entertaining, kind of seeing the behind the scenes and all of that kind of stuff. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe right here. Give this video a big O thumbs up. Big O thumbs. Thank you so much for listening. Exactly. And I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye.
See you guys.